Coffee Chat people. Steve Maloney here again from flatbellyfeeling.com with another video clip on improving the quality of our lives. So far we've covered desire as an important first step towards achieving what we want. And then we talked about vision as an important clarity tool to help us to see what it is that we want. There are other steps we can take though, because if we just stop at visualization, we can become mere daydreamers. Sure, we may see opportunities come up, ideas, we may call them coincidence, oh, I was just thinking about that and there it is. But without any impetus to move forward, we can be stuck in these daydreams, which there's nothing wrong with that because daydreams can be entertaining, they can be comforting, they can be lots of things to us. But if we want to actualize what it is that we're dreaming about, it's important to see that we have to move forward. And to me, the next logical step is the recognition of the power of our ability within us to achieve it, to learn, to grow, to develop, and so on. And I believe it was Henry Ford who once said something to the effect of, whether we think we can or whether we think we can't, either way, we're right. And indeed, there seems to be this something within us which has this unlimited capacity to believe either way. And to show you what I mean by this word, this term, unlimited capacity in this sense, imagine if you and I, are microcosms of humanity at large, in all of its numbers and in all of its history. What could we learn about ourselves? Well, first of all, we could recognize that we've never stopped improving. We've gone all the way from, our primitive existence of relative ignorance and intolerance all the way to civil society today, which continues to improve. Sure, it has its ups and downs, but every time the ups seem to out-trump the downs. And not to mention our technological advances. We've gone from using sticks to pick away at the soil to flying through space. And also within each and every one of us, if we come back to ourselves in that thought, we can recognize that we have this unlimited ability to take on something, to learn, to grow, to keep moving forward. The only thing that seems to limit us, if there is anything, is our ability to somehow think we can't. Now, to make a case in point, allow me to share with you a story about my daughter when she was learning how to ride a bicycle. I think it was around age 3 or 4. Now, the first thing my wife and I did is we went out and bought this little bicycle, and it came with training wheels. Those training wheels are those little wheels that are on either side of the back wheel and prevent the bicycle from tipping over as the kid rides down the road. And so I put them on, and all she had to do was sit on the bike, steer it, learn how to pedal, and have fun. And when she became quite competent at that, what I did is I took a wrench, unknown to her that is, and I moved those little wheels up about an inch on either side. So when she got on the bike, she leaned over a little bit and rode along, and then she sometimes teeter-totter side to side as she went along, but she wouldn't fall over. But more and more often, once in a while, she'd start to straighten up and those wheels wouldn't touch the ground. And when that happened quite often, I took those wheels once again, I loosened them off a bit more, and I moved them up another inch or so. Not enough for the bike to tip over, but still enough to make her want to ride straight. And sure enough, when she got on it, she tilted over a bit more. But when she got going right away, she straightened up. And she rode without those wheels touching the ground. And I let her do that for a while. And when she was consistently riding without the wheels touching the ground, I, one evening, when she wasn't around, took those wheels off completely. And when she got back on that bike the next day, she almost fell over. And she looked down and she saw that something was different. She looked up at me and she said, "Daddy, something's wrong with this bike. I can't ride it like this." And sure enough, true to those words, she couldn't. And I looked down at her and I said, actually, you can. And I explained to her what happened. I told her she'd been riding along without those wheels touching the ground. And then so eventually I took them off. But she didn't really believe me. So I said to her, look, you and I can prove this together. What I'll do is I'll hang on to your bicycle. You can sit on it. You don't even have to pedal. Just coast. And we'll walk down the street. And every once in a while, I'll let go and you can coast. And that's what we did over and over and over again. A little bit faster each time, a little bit farther each time. And eventually she started to add the pedals to the mix. She started to go farther. She started to do circles around me. She started to giggle. And the rest is history. She became a good rider. So what can we learn about this story about my daughter? Well, when we ask ourselves, was it really the training wheels which held her back, which caused her to say, I can't, or the lack of training wheels, that is? Well, it couldn't have been, because she'd been riding without them touching the ground for days. Perfectly fine. From what I can see, it was the fear associated with not having these training wheels, which, as we can see, was fear nothing at all. That fear was like a thick, muddy blanket, obscuring the real truth of her ability, which was really a false premise based on uncertainty. And for us, when we can see the certainty of our ability to learn, to develop, and to grow, we can find a way to more consistently say and to actually believe the words, I can. With this, we begin to dissolve our muddy blankets of fear to expose the natural ability within us. We can do this by thinking back to times when we, just like my daughter, in spite of what fear we may have felt, moved on anyways. Yes, we kept going until we finally came into the clear of the truth, which was our ability to move forward and to learn and to develop, and we went on to achieve what we wanted. With these memories, we can help ourselves to move from somehow believing that we can't to the understanding that at the very core of our being, there is this magnificent ability to say, I can. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll talk to you in a couple of weeks. Bye for now.